It's a great day in America, as Election Day and Election Night is upon us here in Washington and all across this great country of ours. That does it for me. I'm Blake Berman. NewsNation special election coverage with Chris Cuomo, Elizabeth Vargas, and Leland Vittert starts right now, right here on NewsNation, as we leave you with a picture of the grandest prize of them all, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Will it be Donald Trump? Will it be Kamala Harris? Our coverage begins now.
For over 200 years, we the people have exercised the right to vote.
You don't need a college education to learn that the right to vote is our most priceless possession. Don't throw it away.
This nation has placed its destiny in the hands of its millions of free men and women.
And as someone who stayed up late on many election nights waiting to hear how the American people have decided whether elections are close or not, every vote is important.
We vote for our beliefs. We vote for our freedom. We vote to protect our rights. And today, we have the privilege to vote again for our future.
All right, here we go. Welcome to NewsNation. After months of campaigning, really felt like years of campaigning, it's time for us all to make our collective decision. Welcome to NewsNation, viewers and friends at the CW. It's election night on NewsNation. I'm Chris Cuomo. Elizabeth Vargas, Leland Vittert is here. We are all together to witness history. I just want to say it's great to be with both of you.
It's great to be with all of you as well.
And it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, it's great to be with folks at home. And what a privilege it is to live in a country where we don't know the result, where we have to wait for it. Not everybody gets that.
We were having a meeting just moments before we came on the air, and we all said, who do you think's going to win? And the best answer was yours, Leland, because your answer was America. And that is true. We are seeing record turnout. It is an incredible honor that we all get to enjoy as registered voters in this United States of America, and that so many people are exercising that right today is fantastic.
You saw your selfie.
Did you?
Yeah, it really moves.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually didn't take that, but I can't tell you who it was because I'm pretty sure it's crime. So I can't tell you who took the picture. But absolutely voted. It's a beautiful demonstration of our democracy that we get to exercise the franchise. It's great. This is going to be a long night by all accounts, and that's okay. The only thing that we'll police in real time here, the numbers come as they come. There are certain legal deadlines that will help us facilitate the night in terms of understanding it. The developing narrative of what's going on in the country, not just in terms of outcome, but why. You got who, but the how and the why become very important. And we have some of the best minds in the business. We have DDHQ, first of all, which is a great outfit to help us measure what's happening at the polls. Then in terms of the why, political editor Chris Steyerwalt. He's in Washington, D.C. Connell McShane at the big board here in New York. Tough job for him tonight. I hope that he's Red Bulled up. Helping us tell the story of tonight, we also have a complete complement of correspondents all over in all of the important places.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night. We don't know quite yet how long it will be. And as we said, we've got not only our NewsNation correspondents, but we also have, they're spread out over the important battleground states, reporting on turnout, on vote counting. They are stationed at campaign headquarters. They'll be giving us what the latest that they're hearing from the campaign sources behind the scenes. As
they've all been briefed to give the knowing nods.
Exactly.
They're all giving knowing nods. I like the knowing nod.
We also have the power of Nexstar, 110 newsrooms all across America, living and working in these communities. These are reporters that are there. They live there. They work there. They're from local news. I spent some time in local news. It's really, really important, and they will all be part of our conversation tonight as well.
Collective knowing nods. I like the knowing nods.
Well, there we go. All night, we're going to be focused on the data and the facts. That's what will drive our coverage from our partners at Decision Desk HQ. They are making the calls, and by that, they are projecting when they feel as though there is enough data in that they can project a winner. You're not going to see this picture on any other network. This is the Decision Desk. These are the data guys, the Decision Desk HQ War Room, and we are going to be checking in with DDHQ throughout the night, understanding why they are making the calls they are making and why they are not making the calls they are not making.
That's important, by the way. That is an important point. One of the things that we want to do, it's good to be veterans in this business because we've done this a lot. And the one thing you don't want to be is you don't want to be early and you don't want to be wrong. So with that, let's get started. For me, as I said off at the top, for me, obviously everybody's obsessed with the who. For me, it's an obsession with the how. And what I'm watching in real time in terms of what I have to tell people tonight, and with your guys' help, is not so much what's happening at the polls, what isn't happening at the polls.
Meaning?
There's already too much talk about things being wrong, and I heard this and I heard that, even coming from one of the candidates. I'll let you guess which one it is, and if you guessed Harris, you're wrong. But we have to police that in real time because that's the only threat tonight is people thinking it's not legitimate. So we take the job very seriously.
And so far, it has gone smoothly. We did have a couple of bomb threats called into some polling stations in Georgia. It's been determined they came from Russia. One of the polling sites had to be evacuated for a little more than an hour. Voting will be extended at that polling site a little longer tonight to make time for everybody to get their chance to vote. We are seeing some posts on social media about voter irregularities in Pennsylvania. Those have been strongly denied by Pennsylvania authorities who say it is all going very, very smoothly, that they've had no reports of any sorts of undue influence, bad behavior, threatening behavior, and obviously no fraud. They're taking very, very great care. And there's been a lot that's been done since 2020 to secure. New laws have been passed, new procedures have been put in place to make sure that all the vote counts go according to procedure.
Yeah, we're going to see one of the great successes in Georgia from this. We were told that it was Jim Crow 2.0 and the post-2020 reforms in Georgia were going to be a disaster. It turns out there has been record turnout in the early vote, likely going to be record turnout overall, and 80% of the vote counted by 8 p.m.
That's amazing.
Which is a really impressive model. And I think you're right. It's important to think about, hey, we want to get it right. We want to take time. There's a difference between us and elected officials. There is something about when it goes into days and days and days and how long it will take to know House races in California. The more time that's out there, you know this better than anybody who looks at social media, that the more time that goes by, the more time there is for bad actors, whether it be overseas or domestically, to sow that distrust.
Yeah, time and trust are inverse curves. There's no question about it. I do think, though, we should give ourselves a pat on the back in America. I am very surprised. Turnout tends to get bigger. Sometimes you'll have a trough year where people just aren't feeling it. The race is completely unexciting or whatever it is, or it's not really a contest. The idea that the pandemic era, with all of the expansive voting rules that we had, right, because we were trying to encourage people and all the different policies.
It was more difficult to vote, so we made it somehow easier and expanded, yes.
If we're even near, let alone exceeding that, that is really impressive.
Well, it says a lot, I think, about this race. I want to bring in Chris Starwell in a second, but very quickly, what are each of you watching for? And then I'll say what I'm watching for. Leland, tonight, what are you watching?
The turnout story is important because high turnout used to help Democrats. Now it seems to help Republicans and Donald Trump because Donald Trump does better in registered voter polls than he does in likely voter polls. That's going to be something to watch. And second of all, the realignment of American politics that started in 1992 is just increasing in speed. And if you think about why Kamala Harris might win, it's because of Republican suburban women. Right. And that is a stunning statement to make.
Yeah, the last one of the descriptors matters to me. This is the first time in my life that we've had to process a class losing a right. And it happens to be the biggest part of the population and the biggest part of the electorate. And
the ones most likely to vote.
That's right. And what you and I were trying to figure out earlier, that we kept seeing these exit polls where democracy was a high interest for people leaving the polls.
Number one issue in different exit polls.
To me, that issue can fall under democracy.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of women articulate it that way, that they feel they've been disenfranchised within the democracy.
You both touched on what I'm going to be watching most tonight, which is the female vote. White women in this country went for Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. Even though the women vote overall went against him, white women went for him. We've seen in early polling that they are not supporting him in this election so far. I'll be curious to see if that bears out. If we see at the end of this night, if it is women who are really deciding the issue of who's going to be president of the next 4 years.
Women break both ways.
They do. And they vote on more than one issue.
Brother Steyerwalt may have some insight into this. We always talk, Chris, about the black vote or the Latino vote or the women vote. And maybe now more than ever, which probably is a good thing, none of these groups are monolithic.